Hey guys. Tonight we're heading back to ancient Rome. A time of blood, sand, and survival. Where the roar of a crowd could be the last thing you hear, or your ticket to glory. You're not a senator. Not a noble. You're something far more dangerous. You're a gladiator. But before we dive in, go ahead and hit that like button if you're into historical deep dives. Subscribe if you're new. And tell me in the comments, if you had to live in any historical era for just one day, which would it be? I bet after tonight, ancient Rome drops a few spots on your list. So dim the lights. Maybe light a candle for that smoky ambience. And let's sink into the gritty, brutal, and often unwashed life of a Roman gladiator. Congratulations, you've just woken up in 81 AD. The good news? You're alive. The bad news? You're chained to 5 other men. All of you smell like metal, sweat, and 3-day-old barley stew. You're in a holding cell under the Colosseum, the most terrifying stage in the Roman Empire. Your back itches from straw. Real straw. Not the romantic kind. The kind that stabs your skin and hides bugs. There's no bed. No mattress. Just dirt, cold air, and the overwhelming scent of fear. Not just yours, there's 2. The men beside you haven't slept well. Neither have you. You shift slightly, and the iron collar around your neck clinks. It's heavy. Always has been. You don't remember what it felt like to be free. That memory, it's buried. Like the people you've killed. You weren't always a gladiator. No one is born that way. You were taken, maybe from a battlefield, maybe as a prisoner, or maybe you sold yourself to pay off a debt. Doesn't matter anymore. Now you fight. Or you die. Above you, the sound of wood creaks. Heavy footsteps. The crowd is already filling in. Their laughter is distant but cuts deep. They're not here to watch you survive. They're here to watch you bleed. A guard barks a name. Not yours, not yet. The man next to you groans. He's hauled up, dragged by 2 men who barely look at him. He's shaking. You don't ask his name. What's the point? He doesn't come back. You stare at the gap in the doorway. A sliver of sun beams through, slicing the room like a blade. Warm, yellow, beautiful. You haven't felt sunlight on your skin in days. Maybe weeks. They feed you twice a day. If you're lucky. Barley mash. Some days, a chunk of meat so salty it burns your tongue. You eat it anyway. Strength means survival. Every bite, every step, every breath, it's all about the next fight. Your trainer is a veteran. An ex-gladiator. They call him Dominus. He lost an eye in the arena but gained respect. He doesn't care about your pain. He cares about your form. Your grip. Your stamina. He trains you like a warhorse, beatings included. The training yard is hot. Sand burns your feet. Sweat pours off you like rain. You fight with wooden swords, but they bruise like real ones. If you drop your guard, Dominus hits harder. He says pain teaches quicker than words. There are rules in this place. Fight. Obey. Survive. Brotherhood exists, but only in silence. No one speaks of the past. No one dreams of the future. You wake, you fight, you sleep. And if you're lucky, just maybe, you see another sunrise. Sometimes a girl from the kitchen sneaks you water. Clean water. She doesn't speak. Just looks at you like she's sorry. You don't know her name either. But that moment, her eyes, her silence, it's the kindest thing you've felt in months. You hear stories. Rumors. Some fighters earn their freedom. Win enough battles, gain enough fame, and they give you a wooden sword, a symbol of liberty. But those stories are like ghosts. You don't know anyone who made it out. At night you lie awake, listening, breathing in fear and sweat. Sometimes you dream of your home. A field. A river. A voice you can't quite remember. And then the clank of chains jerks you back. Morning comes. Again. The guard opens the gate. Your name this time. Your stomach turns. You stand. Your legs are shaky, but they move. You follow the path, the winding corridor up into the belly of the beast. The crowd is deafening now. You smell oil, blood, leather. Your heartbeat pounds in your ears. The sunlight blinds you for a moment. Then you step into the arena. And Rome roars. Your sleep is dreamless this time. No rivers. No faces. Just darkness. Your body shuts down like a collapsing tent, aching in places you didn't know existed. When the morning comes, it's the blare of horns again, not gentle, not kind. Just noise that drills straight through your skull. You rise slowly. Every joint protests. Your shoulder throbs where the trident grazed you. The wound is bandaged barely. Just a strip of cloth and whatever passed for medicine around here. Probably vinegar and hope. Dominus calls you out early. No time for food. No time for rest. Today is not a training day. It's worse. It's the parade. They strip you of your tunic. Replace it with armor, decorative, flashy. Not built for battle. Just for show. Bronze greaves, a helmet with a plume. A red sash across your chest that smells like it's been worn by 10 men before you. And maybe bled on by all of them. You're paraded through the streets of Rome like a prize bull. Citizens lean over balconies to gawk. Some cheer. Some spit. Children point. A few toss coins. Others toss rotten fruit. A tomato splatters on the man walking beside you. He flinches but keeps walking. You do the same. This is Rome. And this is what you are now. Spectacle. In the forum, the nobles sit on cushions, sipping wine as you're displayed. The editor of the games, the man who decides who fights, who dies, stands and nods. He raises a hand. His ring glints in the sun. You're dismissed. No words. No promises. Just a long walk back to your cell. The next week is filled with drills. Over and over. Shield techniques. Blade angles. You eat more now. More barley, more lentils, even a slice of lamb one night. Dominus is preparing you for something. A big fight. Then it comes. The announcement is nailed to the outer gate. A munera. A full-scale gladiatorial event. 3 days. 30 fighters. High profile. The emperor himself is rumored to attend. Dominus looks you dead in the eye. You're fighting on the 3rd day. You don't ask who your opponent is. You'll know soon enough. The other gladiators start placing bets. Whispering about matchups. Some sharpen their blades obsessively, like the steel might save them. Others pray. You stay silent. You've started to learn something important. The quiet ones last longer. The night before the fight, you don't sleep. You sit on the floor, staring at the door. The torch outside flickers. A shadow moves. You brace yourself, but it's not a guard. It's the kitchen girl. She's brought you something. Bread. Real bread. Still warm. She doesn't speak. She just leaves it on the floor and walks away. You chew slowly. Every bite feels sacred. You haven't tasted wheat like this since. You don't even remember. The morning of the match, the energy in the barracks shifts. It's tense. Men are dying today. They know it. You know it. You're oiled up, armored again, this time properly. Your shoulder is wrapped tighter. The leather straps dig into your ribs. You step into the tunnel once more. Your feet know the way now. The corridor breathes like a beast around you. Cold walls. The smell of iron and death. Then, sunlight again. The arena feels larger this time. The crowd is even louder. You don't look up. Your opponent waits. He's massive. A murmillo. Heavy shield. Curved sword. Helmet with a thick grill that hides his face. He doesn't pace. He stands still. Like a statue. Waiting. The horn blows. You circle slowly. He doesn't move. You feint left. No reaction. Then he charges. He's faster than he looks. The shield slams into you like a wall. You hit the ground hard. Sand in your mouth. You roll, barely dodging the blade. You're up. sword raised, breathing heavy already. He comes again. A flurry this time. You block. Once. Twice. Third time, your arm buckles. His shield crashes into your jaw. Everything goes white. You stumble back, blood dripping from your nose. You can't win this with strength. He's too strong. So you give him something else. You run. He follows. You dodge around a pillar. Duck under a swing. You don't need to beat him. You need him to exhaust himself. And he does. Slash after slash. The weight of his armor starts to slow him. You see it in his shoulders. Hear it in his breath. Then, your moment. He swings wide. Too wide. You duck under his shield. Ram your gladius up, under the arm. Right where the armor splits. He roars in pain. You drive forward. Both hands now. The blade goes deep. He falls. The crowd gasps. The Emperor raises a thumb. It hovers in the air. Then, turns down. You end it. Just like that, your second kill. And just like that, your name spreads. You're not just another fighter now. You're someone to watch. You leave the arena soaked in blood, but upright. Alive. And in Rome, that's all that matters. They start calling you Aquila. The Eagle. You didn't choose the name, but you don't hate it. It's better than what they used to call you, slave, scum, number 27. Now, even the guards step back when you pass. Not out of respect. Out of fear. That's enough. Your cell is still the same, straw stone damp. But the other men? They treat you different now. Some nod. Some avoid eye contact. One even offers you part of his bread. You take it. Grunt thanks. Words aren't needed. Dominus is tougher now. You'd think victory earned you rest, but no. It earned you more expectations. More drills. More pain. He pushes you harder, watches you closer. He knows something you don't. One morning, you're pulled from training. A guard meets you outside the yard, his red cloak crisp, his face clean-shaven. That's unusual. This man isn't like the others. Come with me, he says. You follow without question. Down the corridors. Through locked gates. Past barracks you've never seen before. Eventually, you enter a tiled room, marble floors, painted walls. A place made for the upper class. Inside, a man sits reclined on a padded couch, eating grapes like they cost lives. Which, in Rome, they probably did. He's fat. Smiling. Draped in silk. You know who he is. The Lanista. The owner of the Ludus. The man who profits every time your blade hits flesh. I've been watching you, he says. Aquila. The crowd likes you. You move well. You bleed well. You don't respond. He leans forward. I have plans for you. Special fights. Bigger games. And if you keep winning, maybe, just maybe, your freedom. That word. It hits you like thunder. Freedom. You'd almost forgotten it was real. He tosses something your way, a gold coin. It lands near your foot. For luck, he says. You leave without a word, but your hand tightens around the coin like it's air. Back in the yard, Dominus smirks. He saw it. He knows what that coin means. Don't get soft, he says. Freedom's a dream. And dreams get men killed. You nod. Because he's right. The next few weeks, your training shifts. Less brute strength. More speed. Precision. Timing. Dominus brings in a new sparring partner. A Thracian. Fast. Dangerous. With wild eyes and a grin that says he enjoys this too much. You clash daily. Steel against steel. Sweat pouring, muscles burning. You hate him. And respect him. One night, he sits beside you in the yard, both of you battered and bloodied. You kill fast, he says. So do you, you reply. He laughs. Maybe one day, we fight for real. Maybe, you say. But you both know, it's not if. It's when. Another week passes. Another game. You're paired against two men this time. A duel match. They call it a test of the gods. You call it madness. They rush you together, one with a curved blade, the other a spiked mace. You don't think. You become instinct. Duck. Spin. Thrust. The mace slams into your shield. The impact sends shivers up your spine. You stagger, drop low, slash upward. The sword catches one in the gut. He drops. The other screams and lunges. You grab a fallen shield, block just in time, then jab forward, right in the neck. The crowd erupts. Two dead. You still standing. Afterward, the Lanista visits again. This time, he offers wine. You don't drink it. But you nod. Polite. That's all he wants. The kitchen girl brings you honey dates that night. First time you've had sweetness in months. You offer her the gold coin. She refuses. Just smiles. You sleep better that night. But peace never lasts in Rome. The next day, rumors swirl. A Venetia. A beast fight. Lions. Panthers. Maybe even a bear. They say the emperor's nephew requested it. And you're on the list. Dominus is silent. He doesn't look happy. This isn't a fight, he says. It's a spectacle. They want screams, not skill. Then I'll scream later, you say. He doesn't laugh. The day arrives. The Colosseum is packed. Nobles. Senators. Drunk merchants. Even priests. All eager for blood. You're armed with a spear and dagger. Light armor. No shield. Not that it would matter. The gate lifts. The crowd leans in. Across the arena, the cages open. 3 lions emerge. Golden. Hungry. Silent at first. Then one roars, a sound so deep it rattles your ribs. You stand your ground. The first one charges. You plant the spear, brace yourself. It leaps. You dive sideways at the last second. The spear hits, but not deep. The beast rolls, wounded, but alive. The second circles you. Smart. Eyes locked. You wait. Let it come close. Then, a flash of motion. You throw the dagger. Straight into its eye. It collapses, twitching. The third pounces from behind. You twist, but too slow. Its claws rake your side. Hot pain. Blood. You scream. But you're not dead. You grab the broken spear, swing it like a club. Over and over. Roars. Blood. Sand. When it finally stops moving, you collapse beside it. Chest heaving. Vision swimming. You're pulled out of the arena half-conscious. They say you killed all 3. You don't remember. But the name Aquila? That name echoes through every street in Rome now. You are legend. The next morning, you're awarded a wreath. A token of valor. And another coin. This one, heavy with promise. Freedom is no longer a myth. It's a possibility. But first, there's one more fight. And it won't be with a lion. The wound from the lion festers. At first, it's just sore. Then it throbs. Then it burns like fire under your skin. You wake up in cold sweats, muscles locking, heart pounding like a war drum. The medicus scrapes the wound with bronze tools and mutters in Greek. He pours something acidic into the cut, maybe wine, maybe vinegar, maybe poison, and tells you to rest. You don't rest. You can't. Because you know what's coming. The next fight isn't against a beast. It isn't for show. This one's personal. You overhear the names being drawn. And there it is. The Thracian. Your sparring partner. The only man in this ludus who ever made you bleed for real. You'd laughed together. Ate together. Nodded in mutual respect after every brutal session in the sand pit. Now one of you dies. You don't speak the day before the match. Not even a glance. It's not hatred. It's ritual. This is Rome. Even friendship has a price. The night is long. You don't sleep. Again. The girl doesn't come this time. No bread. No smile. Just silence. You lie awake staring at the ceiling, the torchlight outside flickering like a heartbeat. The coin, the gold coin the Lanista gave you, rests in your hand. You consider biting it. Just to feel something solid. The wound on your side weeps pus. You tie the bandage tighter. Morning comes like a thief. Pale and cold. You rise. The guards come without a word. They know this fight is different. No taunts. No shoves. Just the clink of chains and a low whistle of wind through stone. You walk the same tunnel, but your feet feel heavier now. You remember your first fight. The fear. The chaos. That's gone now. Replaced by something colder. Purpose. You step into the light. The crowd cheers. Some chant your name, Aquila, Aquila. You don't look up. Across the arena, the Thracian stands tall. Bare-chested. Twin blades in hand. His eyes are flat. Not empty. Focused. The horn sounds. You draw your gladius. He circles left. You match him. For a moment, nothing happens. Just breathing. Sand crunching underfoot. Then he attacks. Fast. A blur of motion. One blade high, one low. You parry the first. Dodge the second. Step back. He presses forward. Slash, thrust, feint. He's testing you. You give ground. Let him think you're weak. Injured. You are injured, but he doesn't know how badly. He lunges again. This time you meet him. Steel crashes. Sparks fly. He grins. You twist, slam your shoulder into his chest, break the rhythm. He stumbles. You swing. He ducks. Blade slices air. You reset. This isn't just a fight. It's a memory. Every spar. Every bruise. Every time he knocked you down and helped you up. Now there's no helping. He charges. You sidestep. His foot slips in the sand. Just for a second. You strike. Blade cuts across his arm. Deep. He hisses, backs off. The crowd roars. You don't celebrate. You know better. Pain sharpens him. He roars and comes back harder. This time it's chaos. Steel flashes. Blades ringing. You feel your leg buckle. His foot connects with your knee. You drop. He's above you. Twin blades raised. You roll, just in time. One blade slams into the sand. The other grazes your back. You kick upward hard. Catch him in the ribs. He stumbles. You're up. Both of you bleeding. Breathing heavy. You lock eyes. He nods. You nod back. Then, the final clash. He comes in low. You block. He spins. Blade cuts your shoulder. You grab his wrist. He twists. You twist harder. Something snaps. He screams. His left blade drops. You take your chance. You slam your pommel into his jaw. He staggers. Then, you drive your gladius forward. It sinks into his gut. Deep. He gasps. Eyes wide. You hold him as he falls. Blood pours. Warm. Sticky. He looks at you. Mouths something. You lean close. I'm sorry. He tries to laugh. Fails. Then he's gone. You stand alone in the arena. The crowd chants your name again. Louder now. Insistent. But all you hear is your own breath. The Emperor gives the signal. You don't even look at it. You turn, leave the arena. The blood of your friends still hot on your hands. Back in the barracks, no one speaks. The others keep their heads down. Even Dominus doesn't say anything. But that night, he leaves a flask of wine at your door. You don't drink it. You just sit in the dark. The next morning, the Lanista returns. He's smiling. Aquila, he says, you've done it. You're more than a gladiator now. You're a symbol. You don't answer. He drops a scroll in front of you. A manumission. Freedom. Signed. sealed. Yours. You stare at it for a long time. He watches you. Then says, "You can leave tomorrow. Or stay and fight again. Your choice." And for the first time since you were dragged into this hell, you have won. You don't sleep that night, though it's the first in years where no one's watching you with a whip, and no fight waits at sunrise. You lie awake on your cot, the manumission scroll rolled tight in your hand, and you listen to the muffled snoring, to the crackle of torches outside the window's slit, and somewhere beyond the Ludus walls, the distant hum of Rome as it breathes in the dark. You were free. At least, that's what the ink on the parchment said. But your body doesn't feel free. The scar on your ribs aches. Your shoulder twitches each time you turn. The wound from the lion is still healing, slow and angry. And deeper still, beneath the bone, something unsettled lingers. A weight that doesn't lift, no matter how long you stare at that scroll. Morning comes not with chains, but with choice. The guards nod as you pass, not out of pity, not from duty, but because they've seen the crowd chant your name. To them, you're more than a freed man. You're proof that blood buys glory. The city smells different outside the Ludus. A mix of bread ovens, sewage, incense, and horse sweat, all of it thick in the air, familiar and foreign at once. The streets are loud, buzzing with merchants, pickpockets, slaves, priests, and soldiers. You move like a ghost through it all, out of place in your old training tunic, but too dangerous to approach. You've never been to this part of Rome before. Back when you were dragged here in chains, the world was a blur of shouting and fists. But now you walk freely, and every turn shows a city both terrifying and magnificent. Marble columns gleam under the sun. Statues of emperors tower over beggars. And everywhere, people, talking, bartering, praying, living. A child runs past you chasing a hoop, laughing so loud he startles the pigeons from a nearby fountain. You watch him go, then catch your reflection in the water. You don't recognize the man looking back. The beard is thicker. The eyes are harder. The mouth, tight like it forgot how to smile. You find a bathhouse near the Forum, a place where the wealthy come to sweat out their wine and pretend the world outside doesn't exist. You're allowed in, barely, after flashing the manumission scroll and a gold coin. Once inside, you sink into the hot water, letting the heat unwrap your muscles. A pair of senators lounge nearby, talking about the upcoming games. "There's a new champion," one says. "Aquila. He killed 3 lions." You don't correct him. You just close your eyes. They talk about you like you're a character in a story. A symbol. An animal, tamed just long enough to bow before the crowd. You wonder if they'd recognize you without blood on your hands. Later, you visit a tailor. He doesn't ask where you got the coin. Just measures, nods, and fits you for a tunic that doesn't smell like iron and sweat. It's strange, the feel of clean cloth against your skin, like something holy and undeserved. You ask around for work. Not because you want it, but because you need to know if life outside the arena offers more than boredom and decay. A merchant needs guards. A baker needs delivery boys. A noble family needs someone to train their spoiled son in swordplay. They all look at you like they've seen your face on a mosaic. Aquila. You leave without promising anything. The sun sets slower when you're not being ordered around. You find a hill just outside the city walls, where the air is clean and the noise fades into wind. You sit there for a long time, watching the sky bleed orange and red, the colors of battle fading into something softer. You don't notice the man behind you until he speaks. "I figured you'd come here." It's Dominus. He looks older out here, without the sand and shadows of the Ludus around him. He sits beside you, groaning as his knees bend. The two of you watch the sun drop. "I saw you leave," he says. "Didn't think I'd see you back." "I didn't come back," you say. "Just not ready to leave." He nods like he understands, and maybe he does. "You remember your first week?" he asks. "You tried to fight 3 men in the yard. Got your nose broken. Didn't scream once." You chuckle, just a little. "I was an idiot." "You still are," he says, smiling. "But now you're a dangerous one." There's a pause. Not uncomfortable, just real. You could have died in that last fight, he says. No shame in walking away now. I don't know what else to do. Dominus sighs, scratches at his beard. You think I was born training killers? I used to fight too. Not in arenas, real wars. Lost friends. Took lives. When I came home, nothing made sense. So you started training gladiators? No, he says. I started drinking. Training came after. You look at him. For once, he doesn't seem like a drill master, but a man, just another broken soul who found structure in blood and routine. I don't want to fight anymore, you say. Then don't. It's not that easy. No, he agrees. It never is. You sit in silence as the stars come out. Rome glows in the distance, 1,000 oil lamps flickering like fireflies, each one lighting up a different life. Some are feasting. Some are praying. Some are just surviving. Dominus stands. You ever head south? He says. There's a town near Capua. My brother runs a vineyard there. Good soil. Decent wine. He could use strong hands. You blink. That an offer? It's a choice, he replies. That's what freedom means. You can bleed for a crowd, or you can learn to make things grow. You watch him walk away. For the first time, something in your chest feels light. Not gone. Not healed. But lighter. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough for tonight. You spend the night on the hill. The stars above Rome burn steady, quiet, ancient. You lie on your back, arms behind your head, and let the grass press against your skin. It feels strange to sleep without a roof or shouting. There's no chain on your ankle. No metal gate slamming shut behind you. Just wind, just silence, just the sound of your own heartbeat slowly learning it doesn't have to race anymore. The city wakes before you do. You're half dreaming of vineyards, soil thick between your fingers, sunlight instead of torchlight, when hoofbeats snap you awake. A Roman cavalry patrol thunders past below the hill. They don't see you, or maybe they don't care. You sit up, stretch, and for the first time in what feels like years, your body aches like it wants to heal. You wander back into the city by mid-morning, this time with no destination. You're not training, not fighting, not surviving, just walking. Every street is a new smell, a new sound. Fresh figs on a merchant's table. Fish frying over hot stones. Priest chanting near a columned temple. A mother yelling at her child for chasing a goat. You're invisible and noticed at the same time. Some people glance at you, the nose bent wrong, the sword calloused hands, the haunted look. A gladiator. A survivor. Most turn back to their business. You're just another shadow moving through Rome. Eventually, you end up near the slave market. Not on purpose. You were following the smell of fresh bread and wandered too far west. There it is, a raised platform, with shackles bolted into the wood, a man barking prices, another holding a scroll. You freeze. It's not your place anymore, but your body remembers. The same wood you stood on, terrified years ago. The same ropes, same auctioneer's voice. You watch a boy, maybe 10, trying not to cry as a fat man examines his teeth like a mule's. You step closer without thinking. The boy sees you. His eyes widen. Then he lowers them, trained already in fear. Your fists clench, but there's nothing you can do. You could kill the buyer, tear down the platform, and in a week, another one would take its place. This is Rome. Slaves in the market, senators in silk, and death in the arena. You walk away before the rage pulls you into something you can't walk back from. Near the river, you find a small tavern. Cheap wine, quiet tables. You sit in the back, order something warm, and listen. The locals talk like Romans always do, loud, laughing, complaining about taxes and praising Caesar in the same breath. Across the room, an old man plays a flute. The tune is simple, sad. It reminds you of home, though you're not sure what home means anymore. The village you came from, is it still there? Would anyone remember your name? Your stew arrives. You eat in silence. Then a voice beside you. You're him, aren't you? You look up. It's the girl from the arena. The one who gave you the bread that night before the lion. She's older than you remember. Not by years, but by weight, like she's carried too much for too long. Her dress is plain, face smeared with soot like she's been working near a forge. Her eyes, though, sharp as ever. You remember me? She asks. You nod. You gave me bread. You looked hungry. You smile faintly. I was. She sits without asking. Word is you're free now. She says. I am. She doesn't smile. Just sips from your cup like it's hers. Then why are you still here? You think about it. About the scroll in your bag, about the vineyard, about the friend you killed in the arena and the boy you couldn't save at the market. I don't know, you say. Most freedmen don't, she replies. Some end up back in chains. Some drink themselves blind. Others sign back up to fight because it's the only place they ever felt strong. I'm not going back. She looks at you like she's measuring that promise. You don't have to, she says. But Rome doesn't care what you want. It chooses people. Rich, poor, freed, doesn't matter. Either you find a reason to keep moving, or it eats you slow. What's your reason? She shrugs. I make swords now. Not good ones yet. But they cut. That's something. You raise an eyebrow. You forge weapons? I clean the forge, she admits, grinning. But the blacksmith says I've got hands for it. The grin fades. Look, she says, leaning in. If you're looking to disappear, really disappear, there's a caravan headed south. Leaves tomorrow. Hauling iron and olives. They always need someone who can hold a blade. You study her. She isn't offering this lightly. You trust them? You ask. More than I trust this city, she replies. You finish your stew. The tavern darkens as the sun dips low again. Outside, a thundercloud builds over the Tiber, casting Rome in shadow. You reach into your bag and pull out the scroll. She reads the seal, the name, the signature. Then she says quietly, That paper's not freedom. You are. You tuck it away. The tavern empties slowly. She walks with you through the streets. Doesn't say much. Neither do you. But her presence makes the silence bearable. Before you part ways, she stops at a stall and buys 2 apples, one for each of you. For the road, she says. Where does it lead? She smiles. Anywhere but here. You're at the city gates by dawn. The road south curves out like a ribbon toward the horizon, dusty and golden beneath the rising sun. The caravan is smaller than you expected, just 4 wagons, a dozen mules, and a few men already bickering about who forgot the water skins. One of them, a bald man with a scar running from his ear to his chin, eyes you carefully as you approach. You the blade? He asks, without much warmth. You nod. He grunts, jerks his head toward the second wagon. Ride or walk? Your choice. Just don't fall behind. That's it. No salute, no oaths, no contract. You're not a slave anymore. But you're not family either. Just another body moving through the empire. The girl from the forge, her name is Livia, you've learned, is already there, tying down sacks of olives. Her sleeves are rolled, hands dusted with soot and dried blood from the forge. She doesn't look up as you join her. Just says, Thought you'd sleep through the morning. I didn't, you reply, setting your pack down. Good. We leave now. The mules groan, the wheels creak, and just like that, you leave Rome behind. The first day is quiet. The road is lined with cypress trees and distant villas, the air smelling faintly of crushed thyme and manure. You walk beside Livia most of the time. She hums when she works, always off-key, always the same tune, the one the flute player had played in the tavern. You ask her where it's from. My mother used to sing it, she says. She was from Gaul. Thought it was a lullaby. Turns out it was a drinking song. You laugh. Not because it's funny, but because it's the first time in weeks something doesn't feel like a memory of war. By nightfall, the caravan stops near a stream. The others set up camp fast. These are traders and travelers, used to sleeping under stars and waking to wolf howls. You help gather wood. Your hands still want to grip a sword, but they manage sticks well enough. Someone starts a fire. Someone else starts drinking. Livia sits across from you, sharpening a blade she clearly didn't forge herself. It's dull, nicked, but she handles it like she respects it. You ever miss it? She asks suddenly. You don't pretend not to know what she means. No, you answer. But I remember it. Every day. She doesn't push. Just nods and keeps working. That night you lie on the dirt and stare at the sky. The stars out here are sharper, brighter than in Rome. They remind you of childhood, of lying on your back in fields, long before soldiers stormed your village, long before chains and sand and roars. You fall asleep wondering if the sky ever looked down and pitied you. The days pass, one after another, with the rhythm of walking, loading, resting. The road winds through small towns where farmers wave and children chase your wagons. Some nights you sleep with your sword under your blanket. Other nights you forget it's even there. You learn the names of the other travelers. The scarred man is Gaius. He used to be a sailor, then a thief, then a soldier. Now he just wants to make enough money to buy a vineyard and never see another city. There's Maro, who handles the meals and talks to them like they're his children. And Cassia, a woman who used to be a scribe but burned her scrolls the day her master tried to marry her off to a senator's cousin. Everyone's running from something. Or running towards something. But none of them ask where you came from. They see the way you watch the shadows, the way your fingers twitch when voices rise. They know enough to leave it alone. You're 2 weeks out when the storm hits. Not a drizzle. Not a breeze. A full sky-splitting downpour, wind howling like angry spirits. You all scramble for shelter in a crumbling roadside shrine. The roof leaks. The floor is mud. But it's better than drowning. The storm lasts all night. Livia sits close, wrapped in a threadbare cloak, soaked through anyway. She glances at you. Still not missing the arena? You shake your head. Only the food. And maybe the lion. She snorts. Outside, thunder cracks like a whip. You both flinch, not from fear, but from habit. You find yourselves talking. Not about battles, not about Rome. About other things. You tell her about your sister, the one who used to race you through the trees. About your father's laugh. About the time you fell into a well and had to be pulled out by a donkey. She tells you about her brother, lost to debt. About her mother, who sang too loud. About the forge master who let her stay when no one else would. These are not war stories. These are human ones. By dawn, the storm ends. The sky is pale and quiet. The road is muddy, the wheels stuck. But no one complains. Everyone just works. You find yourself humming Livia's song as you dig out a wagon wheel. She hears it. Smiles. Another day passes. Then another. By the time you reach the hills near Capua, you've stopped looking over your shoulder. The nights are easier. The sleep deeper. You think of the vineyard Dominus mentioned. Of the soil. Of something new. You ask Livia, as you crest the hill and see the valley below. You ever think about staying somewhere? Planting roots? She shrugs. Maybe. One day. When I stop needing to run. Are you still running? She thinks for a moment. Not as fast as I used to. You nod. Neither are you. Down in the valley, the olive trees sway. Sunlight catches on their leaves, silver and green. A river curves like a ribbon through it all. And for the first time, you think, maybe this is what freedom feels like. Not the scroll. Not the escape. Just this, a quiet moment, under a wide open sky, where nothing is chasing you. Not even yourself. The caravan doesn't stop in the valley. It rolls on through. But you do. It happens without planning, without a speech, without any dramatic goodbye. Just a still morning, a fork in the road, and a feeling that your feet no longer want to follow the wheels. Livia notices before anyone else. You're walking slower, eyes drifting toward the tree line, toward the sunlit slopes and olive groves that stretch like a painting come to life. She catches up to you, her brow furrowed. You leaving? You nod. She doesn't try to talk you out of it. Doesn't ask why. She just stands there, watching you as the rest of the caravan creaks ahead. You'll need tools, she says, and reaches into her pack. Out comes a small bundle, a knife, a length of twine, flint wrapped in cloth. You raise an eyebrow. She shrugs. For the days that aren't kind. You take it. Not because it's useful, though it is, but because it means something. A gesture. A trust. You open your mouth to say something. Maybe thanks. Maybe something bigger. But she speaks first. Find something worth waking up for, she says. And don't let Rome take it away again. Then she turns and walks. You watch her fade into the dust, her figure shrinking until it's swallowed by the horizon. You don't move for a while. The sun climbs. The wind shifts. A bird calls overhead. Then you step off the road and into the valley. You spend the first week sleeping in a shepherd's abandoned hut, half collapsed but standing. There's a well nearby, and the soil is soft. The roof leaks, but you've slept under worse. You patch what you can with brush and bark, and scavenge the woods for whatever looks edible. You cut yourself twice. Burn your hand once. Almost eat a poisonous root. But each mistake teaches you. And none of them kill you. That, in itself, feels like a victory. You learn to listen, to the earth, the birds, the trees. In the arena, you survive by reading men. Here you survive by reading the wind. You find wild grapes. Not many, and not sweet, but grapes all the same. A sign. A promise. By the second month, you've cleared a patch of land. It's not much, maybe a dozen paces wide, but it's yours. You dig with your hands until your nails break. You haul rocks like you hauled bodies once. Your shoulders ache, but it's a good ache. It means you're building, not breaking. Sometimes at night you still wake up in a sweat. The crowd screaming. Blood on your chest. Teeth sinking into your arm. You sit up, gasping. The stars watch in silence. And then, you remember where you are. You touch the floor. Feel the dirt. Real. Safe. Alive. The seasons change. Spring drips into summer. The air thickens. Your skin darkens under the sun. Your hair grows wild. You don't shave. There's no mirror to remind you what you used to look like. You begin to forget the faces of the dead. Not out of disrespect, but because your mind, finally, is learning how to breathe. Some mornings you talk out loud, to yourself, to the trees, to your sister, if she can hear. You say things you never had time to say before. Things you buried beneath muscle and instinct. You even laugh once. A rabbit startles you mid-piss, and you stumble backward into your own bucket. You curse like a centurion and laugh until your sides hurt. And for the first time in your adult life, there's no one watching. No one keeping score. No one waiting to exploit your weakness. It's just you. And the sky. And the valley that doesn't care if you were a slave, a killer, or a champion. It only cares that you water the soil and keep the fire alive. In late summer, you trade a bundle of dried herbs to a passing traveler for an old goat. She's mean. Horns like daggers. Kicks like a gladiator. You name her Julia. You hate her. But she gives milk. You build a pen. You build a fence. You build a life, one splinter and sweat drop at a time. It's not easy. You still sleep with a knife under your pillow. Still flinch when thunder cracks. But little by little, you stop expecting every knock to be a soldier. One evening you're sitting outside, chewing on a piece of flatbread, watching the sun bleed behind the hills, when you hear footsteps. Your body tenses. Reflex. But you don't move. The figure steps out of the trees. It's Livia. She's thinner, darker, sunburnt and dust-covered, but her eyes still burn bright. She smiles without saying a word. You just stare, stunned. Finally you ask, "Why?" She shrugs. The forge master died. Rome started feeling small. You walked? Rode a bit. Got robbed once. Made it anyway. You're still holding your bread. She points to the hut. Is that yours? It's not much, you say. It's not nothing, she replies. You break the bread and hand her half. That night, she sleeps near the fire, her back to you, like trust was never lost. Neither of you says it, but you both know. This might be the beginning of something. Not love. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But something human. Something real. You lie awake and listen to the wind. The goat mutters in her sleep. And somewhere far off, Rome still roars. But here, in your little patch of silence, it doesn't matter. You made it out. And somehow, you're still moving forward. The days stretch like warm honey after Livia's return. Her presence changes the rhythm of your world. The silence that once hung heavy between the trees now hums with shared stories and quiet understanding. Together you begin to shape the land. You build a crude plow from old wood and iron scraps, dragging it through the soil to loosen the earth for planting. The work is exhausting, but each furrow turned is a small victory, a line drawn against your past. Livia teaches you how to read the clouds, how to predict rain and drought. She knows which herbs soothe an aching back or a fever. You learn to gather wild onions, figs, and chestnuts. Food no longer tastes like survival. It tastes like hope. You talk less about the arena now. The memory fades into the background, like an old scar slowly smoothing over. But it never disappears completely. One afternoon, while repairing the fence that keeps Julia the goat from wandering off, you hear shouting from the road. Voices, angry and loud. The sound is sharp against the quiet valley. You glance toward the trees. Dust kicks up on the path, the telltale sign of riders. You instinctively reach for your knife. But Livia places a hand on your arm. Wait, she says. The riders burst into view. 3 men on horseback, faces shadowed beneath wide-brimmed hats, eyes cold and calculating. The leader pulls his horse to a stop and leans down. You there, he says, voice rough. You live here? You nod, clutching the wooden post of the fence. We're from Capua, he says. Looking for a man. Name of Marcus. You don't answer. He frowns. Word is he's hiding out. Got debts, enemies. Folks say he's dangerous. Livia steps forward, voice steady. No one named Marcus lives here. The man smirks. Maybe not. But we'll be seeing this place again. With that, they turn their horses and disappear down the road, leaving a trail of dust and unease. You stare after them, heart pounding. Livia shakes her head. Trouble has a long reach. That night you keep the fire burning late. Every snap and pop sounds like a warning. You dream of the arena again. The roar of the crowd. The clash of steel. The sting of blood. You wake choking on sweat, hands shaking. Livia is awake too. She reaches for your arm, grounding you. It's just a dream, she whispers. But it feels like a warning, you say. We'll face it, she says. Together. The days pass. The valley breathes around you, full of quiet and growing green. You learn to move with the seasons, planting in spring, harvesting in fall, preparing in winter. You carve a small shrine from stone, dedicating it to the gods who watch over travelers and warriors alike. You leave offerings, a handful of grain, a feather, a small wooden figure. It feels good to ask for protection, to admit you're not invincible. Julia the goat grows fat. She's stubborn and loud, but a reminder that life persists. One afternoon, while gathering water from the stream, you see a figure approaching on foot. It's a boy. No more than 12. Dirty, thin, but eyes bright with curiosity. He stops a few paces from you, hesitant. Are you the gladiator? He asks. You nod, wary. My name's Tullius, he says. I heard stories. You're brave. You smile, though it feels strange. Brave is a word you don't often claim. He asks if he can stay. His parents died in the city. He's been wandering, looking for a place to belong. You look at Livia, who nods. All right, you say. But you work. Tullius grins, and for the first time in a long while, the valley feels like a home. Winter comes harsh and unforgiving. Snow blankets the ground, ice coats the branches. The fire is your lifeline. You huddle close, sharing warmth and stories. You tell Tullius about the arena, leaving out the worst parts, but not the truth. About fear, pain, survival. Livia shares tales from her childhood, of markets and festivals, of songs sung under the moon. You realize you're not just surviving anymore. You're living. But the world beyond the valley doesn't forget. One morning, a scout arrives, breathless and grim. They're coming, he says. The men from Capua. More of them. You feel the old weight settle on your shoulders, the weight of a sword, a shield, a cage. But this time, you're not alone. You gather Livia, Tullius, and the others you've met along the way. You prepare. Not for glory, not for fame, but for home. The valley, wild and quiet, waits. And you stand ready. The morning breaks cold and sharp. The valley holds its breath beneath a pale sky, the air crisp with the promise of confrontation. You stand by the fence, heart steady but aware, old instincts never truly fade. Your hands rest on the wooden post, feeling its rough grain, grounding you. Livia moves beside you, silent but fierce, eyes scanning the horizon. Tullius grips a sharpened stick, too small to be a weapon, but big enough to show he's ready. The dust rises first, a low cloud rolling in with the wind. Then the sound of hooves, hard and fast, pounding on dirt. The riders arrive in a swirl of dust and menace. This time, they number more, 8, maybe 10, faces hardened, eyes full of intent. Their leader steps forward, spitting on the ground. You can't hide in the wild forever, he snarls. The Empire demands its due. You don't answer. You step forward, muscles tight, ready. The fight is brutal, but quick. You've traded swords and shields for fists and sticks, but your body remembers every lesson. You dodge, parry, strike, a dance of survival as old as time. Livia fights with ferocity, her voice a battle cry. Tullius surprises you, agile and fearless, holding his ground against a man twice his size. When the dust settles, the riders lie scattered, some groaning, others silent. You stand among them, breath heavy but victorious. The leader glares up at you, defiant even in defeat. This isn't over, he spits. You know it isn't. But for now, the valley is safe. The sun climbs higher, warming your skin, lighting the green hills. You look around, at Livia, at Tullius, at Julia grazing nearby. This patch of earth, these people, this quiet life, it's yours. Not a prize won in the arena. Not a gift from a master. But something earned. You've traded blood and chains for soil and sweat. And in the end, that is freedom. The wind carries the scent of pine and wildflowers. You breathe it in, deep and slow. And for the first time, truly feel alive. Thanks for journeying through this story with me. If you enjoyed stepping into the life of a gladiator, leave a like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Where would you want to wake up if you could travel back in time? Until next time, stay curious, stay bold. See you in the next adventure.